We saw defeats for the likes of Real Madrid, Juventus, also for Roma and Manchester United. Real Madrid and Juventus, big picture, their defeats don't really matter, but it really is significant for Manchester United because if they'd beaten Valencia, they would be on the left-hand side of this column, which is where you want to be. But that defeat at Mestalla means that they will have a very tricky opponent, really no matter who it is, come the draw on Monday. Let's start off, shall we, with the fact that this was another terrible United performance and really difficult to watch, particularly the first half.
I don't think it would have mattered what pot they're going into. I think every fixture for them at the moment is a tricky one. I mean, okay, when Rashford and Lingard come on in the last 5 or 6 minutes, it got a bit lively for United, but I tell you, the rest of it was hopeless.
Here's the thing, because obviously you're given the chance to...
Well, they probably thought Juve were going to win, right?
No, I understand that, but you've got people who aren't getting in the starting 11 at the moment. Likes of Fred, like Pogba. Right, here you go. Here's your chance.
Rojo.
This Valencia side, by the way, is terrible. 15th in La Liga. They've only won 3 games. They've scored less than any other side in Spain. Yet Manchester United made them look scintillating.
Look at that. The starting 11. It's an experienced international lineup that should be able to go with the names on the back of the jerseys. Should be able to go anywhere and give a good account of themselves. But yet again, there's nothing going on with this team. There's no inspiration coming from anywhere. You would have thought Pogba getting back in the side, he would be doing all he can to get his team around him and produce himself. But yet again, it's lacklustre, and they wait until they're 2-0 down before they even start going after Valencia.
It's nothing different from what we've seen from Manchester United or these French players, all season long. Why do we expect these French players who, when they get an opportunity in the league when it matters and always seem to come up short, and all of a sudden you get an opportunity in Champions League, albeit against weaker opposition, but with nothing to play for? I'm not sure what we expected from this United team. I thought they were
better than playing against a Valencia team that are struggling.
How do you separate French players to the actual 11? Because regardless of who Man United have put on the field, they've played like French players, every single one of them. I can't figure out what the actual best 11 is.
And that's my point. This is a deep-rooted problem for Manchester United that playing against Valencia is not going to fix.
Mac, are we being harsh on United here? They did get through.
Yeah, well, I think if you look in the context of Juventus losing, Real Madrid losing, Roma losing, we are slightly being harsh. But it's not about that, is it? It's about their overall performances and their performances of late. They've got Liverpool at the weekend. And the fact that United are not playing very well. There's no confidence within the side. Of course, there's inner turmoil going on. It doesn't look great. But the fact that they've qualified, I think we're trying to pick holes in them because of the Juventus result. But in the grand scheme of things, they've qualified quite comfortably. But the only problem is, as you rightly said and alluded to at the start of the programme, that side of the draw now, the right-hand side of the draw, the teams that have finished second, apart from probably Porto, without being totally disrespectful to them, every other game that the English teams are going to face, Liverpool, Tottenham included, is going to be really, really difficult.
Here are your percentages with regards to teams they've faced. Most likely Borussia Dortmund, Barcelona or Real Madrid. But let's face it, anyone on that list is going to be favourites going into this clash with United, regardless of who they draw, the way they're playing at the moment.
I think so. I know, like talking about, saving a bit of face for Liverpool at the weekend at Anfield. My God, if you watched Liverpool how they played last night, for those that saw it, it was 1-0 against Napoli going on 3, 4 or 5. I mean, they could rip them to shreds if they put a performance on like that again. So I just don't see, yes, they're out of the group stages and that's ultimately what they wanted to do, but they're just a car crash at the moment. I mean, they really are. I mean, you just have to look at the league table. That will tell you the bigger picture than what this Champions League group stage will tell you.
Matt, we've talked at length about Paul Pogba. I'm intrigued to get your view on him and the way in which, obviously, his relationship with Mourinho, it's clear it's broken down, but his performances on the pitch haven't exactly helped his cause.
No, his performances have been terrible, and his last full performance, I was at the game, it was away at Southampton. He did everything to convince Mourinho that Mourinho was right. He was slow, he was trying to flick the ball and trying to be arrogant on the ball, trying to do too many tricks, but constantly lost the ball. And his pace around the pitch is just woeful at this moment in time. So unless he starts to pick the pace up, and as you guys said before, when he played tonight, it was up to him tonight to show that he's the player that United should rely on. And tonight's performance, yet again, was very under par. So, I mean, there's only so many opportunities you can get. And the fact that he was left out, at the weekend and they went and won, it'll be really interesting to see what kind of team he plays at Anfield at the weekend, because as you said, the pace that he plays at the game at the moment, it's far too slow, and Liverpool will run all over him if they're at it, like Craig rightly said, and they have the same attitude as they did last night at Napoli. It's just going to be one-way traffic come Sunday.
People will say, and there are people who say, well, yeah, Pogba wasn't the only one, and of course he wasn't. He wasn't the only one he had a few flicks and tricks at the end in the last 15, 20 minutes, but you had to stare at the screen hard to see he was actually playing. But for people who say, well, you've got to look past Pogba, when Real Madrid was struggling, people looked at Ronaldo. When Barca struggled, people look at Messi. When the top team, when Arsenal struggled, people look at Mesut Ozil, or they did. Paul Pogba is supposed to be the driving force, the star man, and that is why people look at his performance more than they'll look at Nemanja Matic or Fellaini or Fred. He is the talisman for United, or he's supposed to be.